So when you're actually out shooting the films, you have moments where things just fall apart.
I have worked on some shoots where there has been some pretty full-on disagreements where
Vision that you had of how things were going to go is ripped apart.
drama.
The bottom seems to have been ripped out of it 3/4 of the way through the shooting.
People have had to leave the set, not from my own actions, but
Life intervenes all the time and takes things in a different direction.
yeah, there have been occasions. Just thinking about it now actually makes me laugh.
There are moments where everything just comes together and you didn't know how beautiful it could be, you know, or how clever it could look. The next day, when you're working on a big feature film, come back in and you come into a problem that you just cannot see a way through, and you keep on hitting your head against the wall for a week, and then sometimes it feels like you work for 12 hours on the film, and at the end of the day you zoom out of the timeline, you've made 1.5 minutes, and there's nothing special about that 1.5 minutes. It's just functional. You make a film 5 times. You make it in your mind at the beginning, you make it as you're shooting it, you make it as you're editing it, you make it as you're finishing it, and then you have to kind of make it again for an audience to be marketed to it. Hopefully it's still coherent.
I can't say this enough. You always want to make sure, number one priority, feed your crew. Your film's only ever as good as your food in some cases when you're starting out.
Films are expensive to make, even independent productions.
Because no one in the film industry should be paid nothing.
You have to learn how to find money, learning how to coordinate a crew, and to get what you want out of them as well as trying to get money all the time.
Getting actors, catering and petrol, accommodation, they're the big one.
My last film was about $200,000. This film will probably be even more.
So I studied in Christchurch just after the Canterbury earthquake, so resources and stuff were really hard to find. And I did have to raise a lot of my money myself.
Now these are small amounts in film production, but when you're an independent producer, you've got to find every dollar. Every film completing that experience, which can take, like in the case of one of my earlier films, 10 years. My last film was very quick. It was about 3 years from start to finish.
Although it's a cardinal sin apparently not to fund your own films, but when you're starting out, it's important to, because you need it done. And people aren't going to pay or donate something usually if you don't have anything to show to start off with. So yeah, it's quite crucial to be able to fund some or partially one of your projects.
I was really lucky that I had a scholarship that covered 1 year, but because I was living in the jungle, there was not a whole lot I could spend money on. So in the end I was able to pull that 1 year out into almost 2 years.
It's amazing what you can do on limited funds and with people that are wanting the same drive. If you're making a living making movies and stories, you're nailing it. You're absolutely living the dream.
Well, no, I think everybody's in that situation at some time in their life where you are doing manual labour jobs.
Probably even higher actually, 90% of indie filmmakers. In my case, I actually work for a bank.
Washed dishes for a long time. Late afternoons, I used to work through the evenings, and I would do that in several different places.
I was in a camera store in Christchurch called Hannaford's Camera and Video. It was my favourite job I've ever had.
For many years through my studies, I also supported people with disabilities, acting as a translator.
One of the biggest things is making sure that you understand how money works, making sure that you can kind of understand the value of the dollar.
You've got to learn how to communicate with all sorts of different people and to find ways of getting on with everybody, you know. It was on my last film that I had to work with bigger crews, had to find more money, and so I had to practice this art of pretending I knew what I was doing. I've got this great idea, I'm going to make it happen. I've got all of these people involved. Now, do you want to be involved? And then you got to come back and say, well, the idea's changed. But it's even better, you know. Even though you may not believe it's necessarily better.
The biggest learning curve, the most struggling thing when you start a film is translating your vision to a group of people that share the same mindset as you.
I always used to be very quiet about my films and say I'm just working on a film and not want to tell anybody about it. Because I'm shy, and I think, well, when I'm finished I'll bring it to the world and everybody can see it. But I've realised that you've got to start selling the film once you've had the idea. Whether it's to sell it to the producer who's going to do all of that jumping up and down and make noise about your idea, but you've got to be able to articulate your idea and project confidence about it. So this is something that I'm learning, and I think that many of our students need to learn as well.
Communication is key. Communication can break or make your film.
Well, I tried and failed several times. I first tried Creative New Zealand to try and get some money for equipment to be able to edit the film together. They were interested in the idea, but they won't invest in equipment. I know it's an exciting idea. Why don't I must be explaining it wrongly.
Some cases where there wasn't a communication breakdown, but it's how you deal with it after. And
those people with enough experience in the arts world and who have been working with film and working with other creative industries, they tend to know that there's always a chance that things won't work.
You also want to surround yourself, like I said before, with like-minded people who's on the same page.
And they'll want to support you. People are always looking for a person with vision, and if you've got an idea that nobody's had before, people know that's a really valuable thing.
My family moved to Wellington when we first came to New Zealand. I was so adamant that I wanted to work in film, and at that time I really wanted to work in an art department or a prop department.
Later in my degree I discovered what was called ethnomusicology, which is the study of music in other cultures. To understand somebody else's music, you have to go and live with them and become a performer. So in that sense it's very like anthropology. In a remote village in the Pacific Islands in Melanesia, Papua New Guinea, for 2 years.
I used to get the yellow pages out and I used to call all the Wellington film studios to find out what the jobs were going on, if I could show my work and stuff.
Learning the oral histories. So the stories that people told about their history and their mythology and the way they understood the world. In much of Polynesia and Melanesia, they don't make such a separation. Music and dance is one activity. I thought, well, I shouldn't just be recording the sound, I should be recording the movement. And then I became quite interested in the power of the camera to tell stories.
I spoke with a gentleman from Weta and Wing That Film one time, and at this point they started to know my name. It was like, okay, Rich, okay. There's nothing going here, Rich, but Richard Taylor is going to be at Dimmock's bookstore.
I knew how to use the video camera, basically, but I didn't know how to edit it together or make a story out of it.
I thought, okay, right, this is my opportunity to show my drawings. I hid in the back while they closed. Probably waited for about 15-20 minutes hiding in the back of a bookshop with a book I already bought, my sketchbooks in my bag. And I could see the press and everyone setting up for this interview about this book.
And so I came back to New Zealand and I finished my PhD. And in between I started to get interested in other stories to tell with a camera, and I shot another feature documentary and then another one.
And it got to the time where the people would ask questions, like pop out from the back of this bookcase with my hand, and I said to him, how do I get your job? And
then finally I thought I'd return and try and edit together that footage that I shot back in 2001.
Really bold, 18, 19 at this time. Sir Richard Taylor, how I got his job, and he said 3 things to me. He said, you need to study film or sculpture at Canterbury University. He mentioned it by name. He said I also had to have an area of expertise, so a specialisation, and I also had to be persistent.
It took me 10 years to make that film. How to translate the story from a Melanesian perspective to a story that Westerners could understand. And so it percolated for a long time in my head. That's right.
Sorry.
If you want to be on the camera, you're most welcome to come around here. Otherwise,
no.
Post it. And I'm the only one with posters?
I could go next door and get. No, stop taking photos. We were walking along before. You just go take a photo. It takes photo. He just wants to take photos of me.
No, so rude.
You're leaving, but use your mind.
Again, films take many years, a lot of time. How can you enjoy the experience? And it should be enjoyable. It should be enjoyable for you to make. It should be enjoyable for an audience to watch. Every part of a film, you should find enjoyment in. There's always going to be hard work there, but there is in every aspect of life. So encouraging people to enjoy what they're doing and to realize that playfulness is creativity. So I make fun of you, you make fun of me, just laughing about stuff. And this is what creativity is, it's playing.
So I took that advice, went to Christchurch, studied there, dealt with the ordeal with the earthquake, managed to go to England, and then come back to Wellington to see what I could do, see what I could suss out, And I love Wellington. It's definitely the place to be if you're looking for film. You just have to be able to work really hard.
That perseverance and that belief that you will find a way through the problem is something you have to develop as well. You invest so much time and energy and money, both yours and other people's, that you have to try and find solutions.
So please show support for The Hunter, for the Babel International Film Festival. Screening in Italy in a place called Cagliari, I hope I pronounced that right. It's on the 2nd of December, first screening for all those who can see it in Italy, of course, at 9:20 in the morning. And as far as I'm led to believe, it's the only New Zealand film they've ever had, and it's all in Tyrone, so I'm very proud to have that in there.
Cassowary. Yes, they're very dangerous. I've only seen one close once, and it was only a baby, but you could see it's a very powerful animal when it's even little, and you back away quietly. Because they're halfway between a bird and a dinosaur. They have these very, very big feet, right? And the feet lie very flat, and their legs that come down, you know how our legs do this, and they get smaller as they get down. Their legs are fat all the way down.
Please also keep half an eye out for a work in progress called Padawan. It's supposed to be a project that we're in talks with the Starship Foundation to raise a charity appeal, but with a twist.
Now, if you come across the cassowary in the jungle, and you're jumping, and it feels you, it will turn around. And then if you run away, going boom, 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 they think you're threatening them.
Well, basically, people from the northern tribes, they try to hunt this bird as a sign of their coming of age.
Yep.
So they go out probably 2 weeks or maybe a month, just trying to track down a bird and trap it. And yeah, they hunt it, they kill it, and their grandfather or their grandparents would gut it. They'll eat the meat together, as men. They'll eat together, and they will get the bones and sharpen it into the boy's knife, and then that would be his weapon to go to war.
Keep an eye out for next year, where the filmmakers, New Zealand Filmmakers Collective, an organisational community that I helped run and manage. A couple of weeks ago, we hit the 1,000 member mark. Huge milestone for us. We'll have a couple of events, including some screenings to get the collective members' work out there. A few projects, a few competitions, all designed to create consistent work for the collective. More details to come though, it's definitely underway.
Big claws on the back of there, and they go for your belly and disembowel you.
Yep, I've been up close to it, yes. It wasn't one of my best times in life. Okay, in this picture, they were trying to see if it could smash I think it was a riot gear type shield. Yes, it can. It can.
Any difference if you have Thai boxer next to you?
No, it would probably shatter the Thai boxer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Lighthouse Cinema for allowing us to film here as well. If you've never been to the Lighthouse Cinema in Cuba in Wellington, absolutely fantastic, such a great vibe. I want to thank them very much. Special thank you to Harriet and Sam from the Lighthouse Cinema.